All right, ready for another edition of Buc Update Central, the weekly ETSU Athletics Highlight Show, and I'm Parker Schwartz. Well, on the hardwood, we have conference races starting to form, and both ETSU men's and women's basketball in contention for Southern Conference regular season titles. We have 4 games to recap. Let's get to the action. Thursday, starting at 11 a.m., Education Day. The kids are rooting for everyone out there. Defensive traffic jam in the first quarter. It's only a 9-7 game. These teams needed some time to wake up offensively. Got a little better in the second as freshman Kelsey Mercer bangs in a 3. 22-19, the slim lead for the Bucs after 2 periods. Stayed a tight contest. Some separation gained with Micah Norris. A huge deep ball. Bucs up 7, and ETSU still leading with minutes to go. But watch out, Ellen Riggins nets the long one. ETSU down a point to Samford. Thankfully, the Johnson City native gets those kids cheering with a response. Critical as Tartar grabs 21 points, and her only 3 gives ETSU a lead and the win 61-56. Later that night, VMI hosting Steve Forbes' team, tied for first with Furman in the SoCon. Keydets, one of the hottest teams in the league, storming in, and they start this one on an 8-0 run. All right, there was one bright spot for the Bucs in the first 20, and it landed on SportsCenter. Desante Bradford carving in for a walloping slam dunk. And let's get another look. Goodness, that was an angry slam. Another magnificent performance from the defending SoCon Player of the Week, though, QJ Peterson. Not a big guy, but he provides the dunk as VMI keeps the lead. And right before the half, Adrian Rich splashes home a 3. The Keydets with a sizable 7-point lead at halftime. Probably a candid locker room speech led to a 13-3 ETSU run to start the second half. And TJ Cromer with the shot to grace ETSU with their first lead. The team had 9 total trifectas, and that helped the Bucs to an eventual 10-point win and a season sweep of VMI. Back to the women's team. Okay, a major matchup here on tap with Mercer. The top dogs of the SoCon right now, and it's difficult to start a game down 23-3 after the first quarter. ETSU a hole to fill for sure, but how about a 19-8 advantage for the Bucs in the second? 8 of the 22 points in the first 2 quarters from Shamaria Bridges. Mercer outscored the Bucs in the second half too, and ETSU has lost both games to the Bears this season by a combined 32 points. They're still in the hunt though, the Bucs sitting 2 games out of first place in the league. Staying on the road, we're in Spartanburg, South Carolina. The Bucs coming out hot in this one. 12 points in the first stanza for TJ Cromer, nailing the 3 on the fast break. The front court, as expected, against Wofford's guard-oriented team, very efficient from the floor. Tevin Glass and Hunter Mascara-Perea featured heavily, and the Bucs up by as many as 13. But Eric Garcia and Fletcher McGee are some of the league's best, and the Terriers closed the gap. Cromer salvaged a disappointing end of the half, but you get the picture. It's going to be close. For most of the second half, though, it just looked like the Bucs had it in the bag. But you can't sleep on Mike Young's team. Nathan Hoover gives the Terriers the lead, and they didn't give it back. The Bucs suffer a disappointing come-from-behind loss.
For a tying 3, and off the mark, deflected, and the putback won't matter. Wouldn't have counted anyway, and that's going to do it.
All right, next up for the men's basketball team, they have 2 critical games this weekend against the Citadel on Thursday, and then Saturday versus the Mercer Bears. As for the women, another critical test, and that comes against Jim Foster's Chattanooga Mocs. Well, for the second time this year, the ETSU track and field team got to host an invitational, and let's see how they did. At the Buccaneer Track and Field Invitational, ETSU honored their 8 seniors and had 2 overall winners. Sophomore Kyra Atkins won the women's 60-meter hurdles, and on the final day, freshman Adam Brattmuller claimed victory in the 1-mile run with a time of 4:16.55. The Bucs also had 6 runners get in the top 10 of the men's and women's 800 meters. Other notable finishes, senior Brett Squibbs was second in pole vault, and Michael Williams claimed runner-up in the 60-meter hurdles. Lots of game action to go over next week as we have 3 home basketball games, including the women's contest on Friday night against Chattanooga. It's a gold out while the men play the Citadel and Mercer. enter in some new sports as well. Softball starts with a host of games this weekend. We also have women's tennis in action, and track and field participates in the Music City Invitational. For our entire crew, I've been Parker Schwartz, and this has been Buc Update Central.